On a sunny Saturday morning in Atlanta, Georgia, Dr. Marcus Johnson was sitting at the kitchen table, savoring a cup of coffee while reading the newspaper. His wife, Angela, was busy preparing breakfast for the family. Michael, 12, and Sarah, 10, were playing in the backyard, laughing and running after the family dog, Max. "Marcus, we need to do the grocery shopping today," said Angela, placing a plate of pancakes on the table. "Sure, honey," Marcus replied, folding the newspaper. "We can go right after breakfast. They're having fun out there. I think they'll love going to the market today, especially if we promise to get ice cream," Angela laughed. After finishing breakfast, the family got ready to leave. Marcus put on a light blue shirt and jeans, while Angela chose a floral dress. Michael and Sarah, eager for the promised ice cream, quickly put on their sneakers and ran to the car. On the way to the market, Marcus glanced in the rearview mirror and saw his children playing and chatting excitedly. "Hey, Dad, do you think we can get that chocolate ice cream I like?" Michael asked. "Of course, son. And you, Sarah, what flavor do you want?" Marcus said, smiling. "Strawberry. With chocolate syrup," Sarah replied, clapping her hands. At the market, the family walked through the aisles, enjoying their time together. As they were picking out vegetables, Marcus bumped into an old friend from medical school, Andrew. "Marcus, it's great to see you," Andrew exclaimed, shaking his hand. "How's everything?" "Good, Andrew. Just out doing some family shopping. How about you?" Marcus replied. "Same here. I'll let you get back to it. See you at the hospital," Andrew said, waving goodbye. The Johnson family continued their shopping, enjoying their time together. Little did they know that a storm was brewing that would turn their ordinary day into a memorable and challenging experience. Across town, John Smith, 40, was in his small apartment, trying to entertain his kids, Billy and Emma. John had been unemployed for months, and the financial strain was affecting the whole family. His wife, Mary, 38, was in the kitchen, making sandwiches for the kids. "John, we need to go to the market today. The kids have no snacks for school," Mary said, handing him a sandwich. "I know, Mary. I'm just trying to muster the energy to face it," John replied, sighing heavily. "Let's go before it gets too crowded." John put on a wrinkled shirt and worn-out jeans. Mary threw on a shabby coat and tied her hair back. Billy, 13, and Emma, 11, were ready but visibly annoyed about having to go. "Why do we have to go? I hate the market," Billy complained, crossing his arms. "Because we need food, Billy. Now let's go. No more complaining," John said, grabbing the car keys. On the way to the market, John and Mary argued about bills and expenses. The atmosphere in the car was tense, reflecting the difficulties the family was facing. "We need to find a way to save more. We can't keep going like this," Mary said, looking out the window. "I'm doing the best I can, Mary. We just have to hold on," John replied, gripping the steering wheel tightly. At the market, the family trudged through the aisles, the weight of their worries hanging over them. As they picked out essentials, they passed by cheerful families, a stark contrast to their own situation. Both families, unaware of each other's struggles, continued their day, each facing their own challenges and finding small moments of joy amid their difficulties. Billy looked confused but obeyed his father. Emma held Mary's hand, sensing the tension. In the cereal aisle, things started to get worse. John whispered prejudiced comments to Mary, who looked nervous. "It's ridiculous they're here, acting like they own the place," John said, his voice full of venom. "John, please don't do this," Mary pleaded, realizing they were drawing attention. However, John didn't back down. As they passed by the Johnson family again, Billy, following his father's example, pushed Michael in the aisle. "Hey, what do you think you're doing?" Angela shouted, rushing to help her son. "Michael, are you okay?" Marcus said, helping his son up. "It was him, Dad. He pushed me," Michael said, pointing at Billy. John intervened, pushing Marcus back. "Stay away from my son," John shouted, his face twisted with anger. "There's no need for this," Marcus said, trying to stay calm. "We can resolve this peacefully." "Peacefully? You think you have the right to be here, on equal footing with us?" John sneered, punching Marcus in the face and knocking him to the ground. "Marcus!" Angela screamed, rushing to her husband's side. The tension in the market hit its peak, and someone called the police. The next actions would determine whether this encounter would explode into something worse. As Dr. Marcus Johnson helped his son Michael off the floor, the tension in the market escalated. Angela, worried, looked around, seeking support among the customers who were witnessing the scene in astonishment. "Are you okay, son?" Marcus asked, checking Michael to ensure he wasn't hurt. "I'm fine, Dad, but he pushed me on purpose," Michael replied, glaring at Billy. Billy, still beside his father, looked confused but unrepentant. John Smith continued his aggressive stance, confronting Marcus with disdain. "You should teach your son not to butt into things that aren't his business," John said, pointing an accusing finger at Marcus. "There's no need for violence," Marcus responded, trying to keep calm. "We're just here to do our shopping, just like you." Mary, seeing the situation getting out of control, tried to intervene. "John, please, let's just leave. We don't need this." "No, Mary. I'm tired of people like them acting like they're better than us," John retorted, not taking his eyes off Marcus. Angela, seeing the situation was about to get worse, stepped forward. "We're all here for the same reason. Let's resolve this civilly." But before anyone could react, John lunged and punched Marcus, who fell to the ground from the impact. Angela gasped and rushed to her husband's side, while Michael and Sarah watched in shock. "Marcus, are you okay?" Angela said, holding his hand. Marcus, still dazed, tried to get up. "I'm fine. Call the police, Angela. This has gone too far." Several customers around them started murmuring, some taking out their phones to film the scene. A woman near the checkout had already called security. The security team arrived running and tried to separate the two men. "What's going on here?" one of the guards said, trying to understand the situation. "He attacked me for no reason," John said, pointing at Marcus. "We were just shopping." "That's not true," Angela said angrily. "He pushed our son and then attacked my husband without provocation." Before the argument could continue, the police arrived at the market. Two officers, a man and a woman, entered quickly, trying to grasp what had happened. "Who's involved?" the male officer asked, looking around. "Him," John said, pointing at Marcus again. "He started everything." "That's a lie," Angela shouted, outraged. "He's the aggressor. Check the security cameras." The officers looked at Marcus, who was still getting up, and without asking many questions, handcuffed him immediately. "We're taking everyone to the station to sort this out," the female officer said. "We'll check the cameras and listen to all the witnesses." As Marcus was led away in handcuffs, John looked at him with a triumphant smile. "This is what you deserve," he muttered. Angela, shocked and furious, held her children's hands. "This isn't over. I'll fight for justice, Marcus. I promise." The Johnson family was escorted out of the market, while the crowd around them watched in silence. Marcus's fate and the truth about the incident would be decided in the coming hours, as evidence was reviewed and witnesses were heard. The police station was busy that afternoon, with officers coming and going, responding to various incidents. Marcus Johnson, still handcuffed, was taken to an interrogation room, while Angela, Michael, and Sarah waited anxiously in the reception area. "This is ridiculous," Angela said, her voice trembling with anger and concern. "They didn't even check the facts before handcuffing Marcus." "I know, Mom," Michael replied, holding his mother's hand. "What are we going to do?" "We're going to fight, son. We're going to prove your dad is innocent," Angela said determinedly. Meanwhile, in the interrogation room, Marcus sat at the table, staring intently at the officer questioning him. "So, Dr. Johnson," the officer began, looking over his documents, "can you explain what happened at the market?" Marcus took a deep breath, trying to stay calm. "We were doing our shopping when that man's son pushed my son. When I tried to handle the situation calmly, he attacked me." "And you did nothing to provoke him?" the officer asked, skeptical. "Absolutely nothing," Marcus replied confidently. "He attacked us out of pure prejudice." In another room, John Smith was being questioned. "I was just defending my family," John said with a smile. "They were causing trouble, and I did what I had to do to protect mine." Back in the reception area, Angela noticed the market manager entering the police station with a concerned expression. He approached her. "Mrs. Johnson, my name is Paul Henderson. I'm the market manager," he said, shaking her hand. "I want you to know that we reviewed the security footage, and your husband's story checks out. He did nothing wrong." "Thank you, Mr. Henderson," Angela said, relieved. "Please tell the officers." "Of course, I'll do it right away," Paul replied, heading to the reception desk. The officers reviewed the security camera footage, which clearly showed John Smith pushing Michael and attacking Marcus without provocation. The truth finally came to light. Shortly after, Marcus was released from the interrogation room. Angela ran to him, hugging him tightly. "I knew the truth would come out," she said, tears in her eyes. Meanwhile, John Smith was being detained. The officers led him away in handcuffs, and he finally began to realize the seriousness of his actions. "This can't be happening," John murmured as he was taken to the cell. "You attacked an innocent man," the officer said coldly, "and now you'll face the consequences." The Johnson family left the police station, feeling exhausted but relieved. The truth had prevailed, but the emotional scars from the incident were still there. "Let's go home," Marcus said, hugging Angela and the kids. "We have a long road ahead, but we'll get through it." As they walked to the car, Angela looked at Marcus and said, "Let's turn this experience into something positive. We need to talk about it, raise awareness, and make sure this doesn't happen to anyone else." "I agree," Marcus replied. "We'll do our part to make sure this never happens to anyone else." With that determination, the Johnson family moved forward, united and ready to face the challenges ahead. The market, usually a place of tranquility and routine, was now buzzing with murmurs and tension following the confrontation between Marcus Johnson and John Smith. Stunned customers watched as the security team tried to control the situation until the police arrived. "Marcus, stay calm," Angela pleaded, holding her husband's hand. "We'll sort this out, I promise." Marcus nodded, though anger and injustice burned inside him. He looked at his children, Michael and Sarah, and tried to offer a reassuring smile. "Everything's going to be okay, kids," he said, trying to comfort them. In a few minutes, 2 police cars arrived at the market. The officers quickly got out, assessing the situation. They approached the group, which included Marcus and his family, John Smith and his children, and a crowd of onlookers. "What's going on here?" Officer Turner, a tall woman with a stern expression, asked. John Smith was the first to speak. "This man attacked my son, and when I tried to intervene, he attacked me too," he said, pointing at Marcus. "That's a lie," Angela retorted. "His son pushed our son, and he attacked my husband without any provocation." Officer Turner called for silence. "We'll handle this in an orderly fashion." "Sir, what's your name?" she asked, looking at Marcus. "Dr. Marcus Johnson," he replied. "We need more information," Officer Turner said, looking at her partner. "Review the security cameras and talk to the witnesses." While Turner's partner, Officer Davis, began gathering statements from those present and reviewing the footage, Turner tried to maintain order. "Everyone, please stay calm until we can verify the facts," she said. The minutes felt like hours as they waited for the results of the security camera review. Angela was restless, holding the hands of Michael and Sarah, who were still scared. Finally, Officer Davis returned with the market manager, Paul Henderson, at his side. Henderson looked visibly uncomfortable, but was determined to clarify the truth. "Officer Turner, we've reviewed the footage and spoken with several witnesses. Dr. Johnson did nothing wrong. It was Mr. Smith who initiated the aggression," Davis said. "This is ridiculous," John exclaimed, trying to protest again, but the officers restrained him. "Sir, please remain calm," Turner said, now turning to Marcus. "Dr. Johnson, we deeply apologize for how this was handled. You are free to go." The officers unhandcuffed Marcus, who rubbed his sore wrists. Angela ran to him, hugging him, and Michael and Sarah joined the group hug. "Thank you," Marcus said, looking at the officers and Paul Henderson. "Thank you for clearing this up." Meanwhile, John was being led away in handcuffs. He looked at Marcus with anger, but also a hint of regret in his eyes. "This isn't over," he muttered as he was escorted out of the market. "Let's go home," Angela said, a tremor in her voice. We need to put this behind us. Yes, let's, Marcus agreed, hugging his family, but we'll also make sure this never happens again. With those words, the Johnson family left the market, united and stronger, determined to turn their painful experience into a force for good. In the days following the incident at the market, the Johnson family tried to return to normalcy, but the trauma and outrage still lingered. Marcus, Angela, Michael, and Sarah frequently discussed what had happened, trying to find a way to move forward and make a difference. Turn our pain into something positive. We have to do something, Marcus, Angela said one night as they sat in the living room. We can't let this go unpunished. I know, Marcus replied thoughtfully, but we need a strategic approach. We need to make sure this doesn't happen to other families. Meanwhile, John Smith faced the consequences of his actions. He was charged with assault and faced a legal process. The truth about what happened at the market spread throughout the community, causing various reactions. One day, while Marcus was at work, he received an unexpected visit. The chief of police of Atlanta, Captain Roberts, had requested to speak with him. Dr. Johnson, I wanted to have a conversation with you in person, Captain Roberts said, shaking Marcus's hand. I know what happened, and I want to express my apologies on behalf of the police department. It was a serious mistake, and we are reviewing our procedures to prevent this from happening again. Thank you, Captain, Marcus said, surprised but grateful. I appreciate your concern, but we need more than apologies. We need action. I completely understand, Roberts replied. I'd like to invite you to a community meeting where we can discuss policy and practice changes. Marcus nodded, feeling that this could be an opportunity to start making a difference. That night, Marcus told Angela about the community meeting. It's a chance to make a difference, he said. We can share our story and help implement change. I'm with you, Marcus, Angela replied, holding his hand. When the day of the meeting arrived, the room was packed. Police representatives, community leaders, journalists, and citizens were present, all eager to hear the Johnson family's story. Marcus and Angela stepped onto the stage, greeted by supportive applause. Thank you for being here, Marcus began, looking at the crowd. My family and I recently went through a painful experience, but we are determined to turn this pain into a force for good. Angela took the microphone and continued. On the day of the incident, we were treated unfairly and with prejudice. But instead of letting it bring us down, it has given us more strength to fight for change. They shared details about the market incident, explaining how they were unjustly treated and how it impacted their lives. They also proposed measures to improve police training and public interaction practices. We need more training in sensitivity and diversity, Marcus said. It's essential to ensure that all citizens are treated with respect and fairness, regardless of their color or background. The community's response was overwhelming. Many gave a standing ovation, while others approached Marcus and Angela after the meeting, offering support and ideas for continuing the fight for justice. Captain Roberts returned to the stage. Dr. Johnson, Mrs. Johnson, we appreciate you sharing your story and proposals. We are committed to working with you in the community to bring about meaningful change. The meeting was a success, marking the beginning of a collaboration between the Johnson family and local authorities to promote justice and equality. Back home, Michael and Sarah hugged their parents, proud of their courage and determination. We're making a difference, Michael said, smiling. Yes, we are, Marcus replied, embracing his family, and we will keep fighting for a better future. The Johnson family knew their journey was just beginning, but they were determined to turn their experience into a positive force for the community and beyond. After the community meeting, Marcus and Angela felt more motivated than ever. They knew that to make a lasting impact, they needed to engage the community more directly. They decided to organize a series of meetings to discuss racial justice and equality, inviting not only community leaders and authorities, but everyone who wanted to be involved. The first meeting was held at the local school where Michael and Sarah attended. The auditorium was filled with parents, teachers, and students. Marcus and Angela took the stage, accompanied by Captain Roberts, who had become a strong ally in their cause. Thank you for being here today, Marcus began. We're here to discuss how we can, together, build a more just and inclusive community. Angela took the microphone. We know that change doesn't happen overnight, but every step we take is important. We want to hear your experiences, your ideas, and your concerns. The meeting started with emotional testimonies. A mother, visibly moved, shared her story. Another person spoke up, sharing their experiences and frustrations. Marcus and Angela listened attentively to each account, feeling the pain and frustration of their community. They knew it was crucial to create a safe space where everyone could speak openly. We need to create a support network, Angela said after hearing the testimonies. A network where we can share our experiences and work together to find solutions. Captain Roberts, who was sitting in the front row, stood up and took the microphone. As Chief of Police, I am committed to reviewing our procedures and ensuring that our officers receive the necessary training to handle these issues. But we also need your support. A school teacher, Mr. Mitchell, suggested creating a diversity and inclusion committee composed of community members, school representatives, and local authorities. We can meet regularly to discuss progress and identify areas that need improvement, he said. That's an excellent idea, Marcus replied. Let's work together to form this committee and make sure our voices are heard. After the meeting, many participants approached Marcus and Angela to thank them and offer their help. They knew they were on the right path and that community unity was essential for success. That night, at home, Michael and Sarah approached their parents. I'm proud of you, said Michael. You're making a difference. We're doing this for you and for everyone who faces injustices, Marcus replied, hugging his children. We want a better future for everyone. Angela felt hopeful. We still have a lot of work ahead, but together, we can create the change we need. The Johnson family continued to organize events and actively participate in the new Diversity and Inclusion Committee. Each meeting, each conversation, brought the community closer to a fairer and more equal future. Though the journey was long, they knew they were on the right path, united by hope and determination to make a difference. With each meeting, the Atlanta community grew stronger. Marcus and Angela were busy, balancing their time between work, family, and the Diversity and Inclusion Committee meetings. More people joined each gathering, sharing their stories and uniting in the fight for justice and equality. One night, while Marcus and Angela were reviewing plans for the next meeting, Michael entered the room with a determined look. Mom, Dad, can I talk to you? Michael asked. Of course, son. What's up? Marcus replied. I've been thinking about something. At school, many students face bullying because of their race. I'd like to start a support group for them. Angela beamed with pride. That's an excellent idea, Michael. We want to support you. Yes, son. You can count on us to help organize the group, added Marcus. At the next meeting, Michael presented his idea to the committee. I want to create a support group for students who face discrimination and bullying, he said, nervous but determined. I think we need a space where we can talk and support each other. The committee members applauded Michael's initiative. Mr. Mitchell, the teacher who had suggested the committee's creation, was the first to speak. That's exactly what we need. Michael, I'm willing to help coordinate this group at the school, he said. With Michael's leadership, the group quickly took shape. Students began to share their stories. One of the first to speak was Jessica, a sophomore. I've always been the target of jokes because of my heritage, she said, her voice trembling. But being here today, with all of you, gives me hope. Another student, Daniel, shared his experience. I've always been afraid to talk about what I go through daily, but being here makes me feel like I'm not alone. As the students shared their stories, Marcus and Angela, who were invited by Michael to attend the meeting, watched with pride and gratitude. We're so proud of you, Michael, Angela said after the meeting. You're making a big difference. Thank you, Mom. This is just the beginning, Michael replied, determined. Besides the school support group, Marcus and Angela continued working on the Diversity and Inclusion Committee. They organized community events, cultural sensitivity workshops, and training sessions for the police and other public officials. One day, while reviewing plans for a large community event, Marcus received an unexpected call. Dr. Johnson? This is Sarah Thompson from CNN. We'd like to do a story on the work you and your family are doing in Atlanta, she said. Marcus was surprised but excited. Of course, Sarah. We'd be honored. The story brought even more attention to the Johnson family's cause. They received support messages from across the country and invitations to speak in other cities about their work. The Atlanta community was changing. There was still much work to be done, but Marcus, Angela, Michael, and Sarah's resilience and determination inspired others. That night, as the Johnson family gathered for dinner, Angela looked around the table, feeling grateful. "We're making a difference together," she said, emotional. "And we'll continue," Marcus added, "because that's what we do. We fight for justice and equality." Michael and Sarah smiled, knowing they were all united in this journey. The Johnson family continued to inspire their community with resilience and determination in the fight for a better future. After the CNN report, the Johnson family's story spread quickly, reaching people across the country. Messages of support and thanks flooded their social media and email. The Atlanta community felt more united and inspired to continue fighting for justice. One morning, while Marcus was having coffee, he received a call from an unknown number. "Hello," he said. "Dr. Johnson, this is Ava Martinez, an aide to Senator Harris. The senator would like to invite you and your family to a congressional hearing on racial justice and police reform. We believe your story can bring an important and impactful perspective." Marcus nearly spilled his coffee in surprise. "Of course, Ms. Martinez. We're honored by the invitation. When is the hearing?" "Next week, in Washington, D.C. We'll send you all the details by email. Thank you for accepting." After hanging up, Marcus shared the news with Angela and the kids. "This is amazing, Marcus," exclaimed Angela. "Our story can really make a national impact." "Let's prepare," Marcus said, focused. "We need to deliver our message clearly and powerfully." The following week, the Johnson family traveled to Washington, D.C. As they arrived at the Capitol building, they felt the magnitude of the moment. They were warmly welcomed by Senator Harris's team, who escorted them to the hearing room. "Thank you for being here," said Senator Harris as they entered. "Your story is powerful, and we're eager to hear from you." The Johnson family sat down, ready to share their journey and fight for justice and equality on a national stage. "Thank you for having us," Marcus began. "Our story started with a painful incident of racial discrimination in a market, but it has turned into a journey of resilience and a fight for justice." He described the incident, the community's response, and the actions they took to promote change. Angela added details about the emotional and psychological impact on their family and the community support initiatives they started. "We want a future where our children can grow up without fear of discrimination," Angela said, holding Marcus's hand, "where all families can live with dignity." Michael, standing beside his parents, asked to speak. "I organized a support group at my school for students who face bullying and discrimination. It's important that we have a safe space to share our experiences and support each other." Sarah, holding her brother's hand, also spoke. "I want everyone to know that together, we can make a difference. We need to keep fighting." The Johnson family's testimony was met with applause, and many members of Congress personally thanked them. The hearing was a success, highlighting the importance of the proposed reforms and the positive impact the Johnson family story had on the community. After the hearing, while at the hotel, Marcus received another call, this time from a national civil rights organization. "Dr. Johnson, this is Emily Carter, president of the National Civil Rights Association. We'd like to invite you and your family to our annual conference. Your story is exactly the kind of inspiration we need to share." "We'd be honored, Ms. Carter," Marcus responded, emotional. "Thank you for the invitation." Angela looked at Marcus, smiling. "We're really making a difference, Marcus. Our message is reaching the entire country. And we'll keep going," Marcus said. "Every step we take is a step towards a better future." The Johnson family returned to Atlanta with a renewed sense of purpose and determination. They organized community meetings, participated in conferences, and used their voices to promote change. The Johnson family's journey was far from over, but with every story shared and every step taken, they helped build a fairer world. After the national conference, the Johnson family felt inspired to continue their work. While they had gained significant visibility, they knew the fight for justice and equality was far from over. Every step mattered. One Saturday afternoon, Marcus and Angela were reviewing materials for an upcoming diversity and inclusion workshop when they received an unexpected visit. It was Paul Henderson, the store manager. Marcus, Angela, Paul began, his voice earnest. I want to help. Marcus was taken aback. Are you sure, Paul? Yes, I've seen the changes and the impact of your work. I want to be a part of it, Paul replied. That evening, Michael and Sarah gave a presentation at a community event, sharing their experiences and encouraging others to join the fight for justice. At the end of the event, Angela turned to Marcus. This was a great turnout. I agree, Marcus replied, feeling hopeful. We're making real progress. On a sunny Sunday, the family decided to take a break and visit the local park. As they walked, a group of parents approached them, expressing their support and gratitude for the Johnson family's work. The words of encouragement and recognition warmed their hearts. Keep up the great work, one of the parents said. What you're doing is really important. In that moment, the Johnson family felt a deep sense of accomplishment. They knew they had faced challenges and that there was still much to be done, but they were determined to continue their work and fight for a better future for everyone. After months of hard work and community involvement, the Johnson family was about to receive an honor that symbolized the importance of their fight for justice and equality. The Atlanta City Council had decided to honor them. It was a Saturday night, and the event hall was elegantly decorated. The ceremony was about to begin, and the Johnson family was excited. Angela adjusted her dress and looked at Marcus. We're really here, she said, smiling. Yes, we are. And it's a well-deserved recognition for our entire community, Marcus replied, holding her hand. Let's go. Michael and Sarah, dressed in formal attire, sat nearby, looking around the room. I never imagined we'd be here like this, Michael said. Me neither, Sarah agreed. But remember, this is just a recognition of the work we've done together. The fight continues. As the ceremony began, the host gave a speech about the importance of community engagement and the impact of the Johnson family's efforts. It is with great pleasure that I present the Citizenship and Community Impact Award to the Johnson family, the host announced. They have shown unwavering commitment to justice and equality. Applause filled the room as Marcus, Angela, Michael, and Sarah took the stage to receive the award. The host handed the trophy to Marcus, who stepped forward to speak. Thank you, everyone, Marcus began, looking out at the audience. We are honored to receive this award, but the real reward is seeing our community come together for a better future. Angela, moved by the moment, added, This is just the beginning. We will continue to fight for justice and equality for all. After the ceremony, Paul approached Marcus and Angela. Congratulations, Marcus. Angela, you deserve this. Thank you, Paul, Marcus replied. We're glad to have you with us on this journey. As the evening ended, the Johnson family felt a renewed sense of purpose and hope. They knew their work was far from over, but with each other's support and the backing of their community, they were ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead. Thank you, Paul, Marcus said, shaking his hand. Michael and Sarah opened their gifts with excitement. This is amazing, Michael exclaimed, holding up a new book on social justice. It's just what we needed, Sarah added, admiring a set of markers for creating awareness posters. That night, the Johnson family gathered at home with some friends and community members to discuss their upcoming projects and strategies. The meeting was informal but productive, with everyone contributing their ideas. I'd like to suggest, Michael began, that we organize a community festival to celebrate our progress and raise more awareness. Great idea, Michael, Angela said enthusiastically. Let's start planning it. The discussion continued, with everyone contributing to the festival planning. Excitement was palpable, and the sense of community was strong. The Johnson family was energized and ready to take on the challenge. In the following days, the festival organization began to take shape. The Johnson family and their collaborators worked hard to ensure the event's success. The festival featured various activities, including cultural performances, workshops on diversity and inclusion, and a dedicated area for kids' activities. On the day of the festival, the park was filled with people of all ages and backgrounds. There was a sense of celebration and unity in the air. Michael and Sarah were involved in various activities, helping to coordinate the school support group's booth. Look at all these people, Michael said, amazed by the turnout. Yes, it's a great way to see the impact we can have, Sarah replied. I'm so happy everything is going as planned. Angela and Marcus were busy greeting visitors and organizing different activities. They were pleased with the festival's success. This festival really showcased the spirit of our community, Marcus said, surveying the event. It's wonderful to see everyone coming together. Angela nodded. Yes, it's just the beginning. We'll continue working together to make a difference. At the end of the festival, as the Johnson family returned home, they felt a deep sense of accomplishment and gratitude. They had come a long way, but they knew there was still much work to be done. I'm so happy with the success of the festival, Angela said, hugging her family. But we have to keep pushing forward. Absolutely, Marcus agreed. And we'll continue our journey, always working toward a better future. The Johnson family gathered for dinner, reflecting on the progress they had made and planning their next steps. They knew the path ahead would be long, but they were united in their mission and determined to continue. As they talked and walked together, the Johnson family felt a profound sense of satisfaction. They had overcome challenges, achieved victories, and, above all, demonstrated that with determination and unity, it was possible to create a real and positive impact in their community. And so, the Johnson family's journey continued, filled with hope and commitment, with the certainty that their work was helping to build a more just and equitable future for all.